It's now 17 days to the inauguration of Bola Tinubu as the 16th president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and the countdown is on. Thanks for joining us on the program. You can join the conversation online now using the hashtag Inauguration Day. I am Abosedi Adeniran. On today's program, we are continuing with the 10th National Assembly, the APC zoning arrangement, and reactions from party stakeholders. But first, let's look at education in Nigeria. How has it been? But before we get into that, let's bring you updates on the Labour Party leadership tussle. The High Court of the Federal Capital Territory says it has the jurisdiction to entertain the suit filed by 8 aggrieved members of the Labour Party, accusing the party's suspended national chairman, Julius Abure, of forgery. Ruling on the preliminary objection filed by Mr. Abure challenging his suspension, the court held that it has the jurisdiction to hear the matter, and the claimant were right to have brought the matter by originating summons. Justice Muazu Hamza adjourned till the 17th of May for hearing in the substantive suit. The claimant had accused Mr. Abure of forging court documents, including receipts and the seal of the FCT High Court, which they had allegedly used in the substitutions of Labour Party candidate in the 2023 general election. The court had on the 5th of April 2023 granted an interim order restraining the national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, the National Secretary, Farouk Ibrahim, and 2 others from parading themselves as national officers of the party. Now let's get into the meat of the matter, talking about education. What really does education mean? In simple terms, education refers to the discipline that is concerned with methods of teaching and learning in schools or school-like environments, and that's opposed to various non-formal and informal means of socialization. According to the World Economic Forum 2017, Nigeria ranked 124th out of 137 countries, and that's in terms of quality of primary education. Nigeria was also missing among the top 10 African countries with the best education system. Education in Nigeria is based on a 6-3-3-4 system, which involves 3 levels of institutional learning processes, and that's at the primary school level, secondary school level, and at the tertiary level. Education in Nigeria is compulsory between the ages of 6 and 15, but generally from grade 1 to 9. The quality of education in Nigeria is at a level that certain groups of people, mostly the less privileged, are affected by the educational system crisis than others. And the biggest problem facing education today is a lack of innovation and mobility in higher education. Because of a number of private and public factors, colleges and universities have turned into massive private businesses with multi-million-dollar athletic departments and multi-billion-dollar endowment. These problems have now forced some Nigerians to seek quality education outside the country. But let's look at how well the past administrations have contributed in improving Nigeria's education. I have with me an educationist, Peter Ogudoro. Thanks for joining us on the program, Mr. Ogudoro.
It's my pleasure to join.
All right, let's run a review of past administrations. What would you consider to be the reforms that have actually impacted the education system this past years?
Well, on a positive note, we must give credit to some governments we have had in the past with respect to basic education. There was a time when it wasn't compulsory for young children, those under 15, to stay, come into the school system and have the education sponsored by the federal government. But now we have that. So we have Universal Basic Education Commission, which collaborates with state governments to ensure that our young people who are under 15 are given free access to basic education. So our children are able to stay in school from at the age of 6 till they are 15. And of course, from primary 1 until they are done with junior secondary 3. the education they receive is supposed to be free. But we know that it's a 50-50 affair currently in Nigeria, where about 50% of our children are catered for by the private school sector, while the other 50% are still grappling with the challenges that bedevil the public school education. But I think it's much better than where we used to be. Unfortunately, we still have about 20 million children who are still out of school. And so it's a mixed bag there. We also know that we have a TED fund, which organizations in Nigeria contribute to in terms of using a fraction of their profit to support what happens in tertiary institutions. And that has provided some funding, which has assisted university lecturers and polytechnic as well as college of education lecturers to do some research.
Even with the intervention, we have experienced strikes over time. We have just gotten out of an 8-month-long strike, and when students didn't even know what to do in the circumstance. In all of this, we get to hear about the complaints being poor welfare, call for improved welfare. Do you think we have been able to actually capture the meat of the matter, the real challenge, such that we can proffer a solution to it?
No, we have not, because the model of funding we have at the moment is very problematic. We are deceiving ourselves into believing that Nigeria is a rich country. We are not. Our national, our budget for the year 2023, for example, is the kind of money one organization in the US uses to manage the affairs of just about 100,000 workers and providing services and products to their clients across the world. So Nigeria is a poor country, and we, as a government, have taken on the responsibility of training all our children using government, public funds, which is very inadequate. So we must face the reality that that is not a sustainable model. So we have to find a way to get parents involved in funding the education of their children, especially at post-basic level. So we should be able to pay for university education in Nigeria. And if we work hard, we should be able to get technocrats, people like us who are professional educators, to work with government to institute a means that will enable us to allow those who are poor to study for free, even in universities, while those who can afford it are able to pay, because not all Nigerians are poor. But unfortunately for us, you find rich people whose children are attending federal universities and they don't pay a dime. To study at University of Lagos, you don't need more than 25,000 in a year. And that's very unfortunate for us. How can you use 25,000 naira to be in the university for a whole session?
All right,
whereas we are using... Yeah.
Let's get to the solutions now. I understand your passion about this matter. In just about 17 days, a new administration will be in charge. What do you think should be the hallmark? What should this administration bring in? Considering already there is a promise in the party's manifesto of some level of loan for students to embark on education, which, of course, should be paid back.
Yes, that's an interesting idea. I mean, that presupposes that they are going to introduce, school fee to a level that will make the average Nigerian incapable of being able to, afford staying, especially at the tertiary level of our education system. But I think that we should look for something more sustainable. We have to get parents involved in this matter. We need to get to the table where parents and other stakeholders in the industry, including employers who are the beneficiaries of the products of what we're dishing out from our schools, we should get them better involved in funding the education system. We must also put on record the fact that Nigeria is not doing well in terms of quality of teaching. We are still into rote learning, where our children are in school just to acquire diplomas, which do not match the level of knowledge, skills, and values that they possess. So what we have now is not functional education. People who are coming out of our university system, for example, are not able to meet the expectations of employers. And so it costs a lot of money to retrain these people and help them with the kind of skills it takes for them to fit into industry. And that's why people like Dangote, who run conglomerates, are not able to find the kind of people they're looking for to run their factories. And that's very unfortunate for us. In a country where unemployment is very high, we still discover that when you are running something very sophisticated, people like Dangote, they bring in as significant as about 70% of the manpower they use in their cement factory from outside the country. That's not good for us. And so our pedagogical approach to learning is nothing to write home about.
So the curriculum, Mr. Agudoro, you believe should be revamped such that we're teaching what is applicable in the world in the 21st century as it is?
Yeah, there's no dialogue on a continuous basis, involving the school system and those who are the users.
So let's show some optimism. I just believe. So let's just go in with some optimism, right? That some of these will be looked into and that we have a more vibrant education system in Nigeria. Mr. Agudoro, we'll have to bring you back next week to continue this conversation because this is a topic that must be given serious attention. Thank you very much for talking to us today, Mr. Agudoro.
It's my pleasure.
When the program returns, we'll give you an update on the happenings within the APC, especially as has to do with the leadership of the 10th National Assembly. Please stay with us. It counts down to May 29, Inauguration Day in Nigeria. The All Progressives Congress zoning arrangement for the 10th Assembly has continued to generate reactions from different individuals and party stakeholders. On Thursday, some senators vowed to disobey the party if it continued with its present zoning process. Let's now cross over to Abuja, where the former APC PCC member Ahmed Tijani Mustafa is standing by. Mr. Mustafa, glad to have you join us at this time. Just before we came on the air, Mr. Idris Wase was declaring for the office of President of the Senate of the 10th Assembly. And on Monday, when the list of the APC was released, we also had another member of the party declaring this coming up even after the list has been released. What does it speak of the drama going into the 10th Assembly?
Well, thank you for having me. I think it speaks to the development of our democracy. The party can't decide where to go, but it doesn't hold supreme over its members. It's a democratic process. Our members are still within their rights, to express their interest in certain offices, even if it's not the line that the party wants to toe. It's nothing that we've not seen before. Everybody has a right to throw their hat into the ring, and then at the end of the day, we'll see just how much of a hold the party has on the members. I think it's very, very good for our democracy for people to I'm always an advocate for people testing out their popularity and seeing their acceptance or acceptability speak for them in whatever regard, so long as it is within the confines of the constitution and of the guiding principles of the party. And I think this is not it's not out of place at all for people to throw their hats in the ring, even though the party has told a particular line. It would be good if everybody fell in line with what the party hierarchy is saying. But then again, it's a democracy. So it's well within the right of those who have decided to still go ahead with the contest, despite the party's position to do so.
All right. And showing on the screen at the moment, live pictures from that declaration for the office of President of the Senate there by Ahmed Wase, who is the current Deputy President of the
He's the current Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps.
Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Like I said, it's...
And so I was actually going to ask you, you have seen the list, you probably have some level of relationship with some of the names there. What do you think about their capability to deliver lawmaking the way it should be in the 10th Assembly?
I think everybody who is on that list is eminently qualified for the position that they've been nominated for, whether or not it is just and fair for the list to be, because there are quite a number of people with objections, and rightfully so, given the diverse nation of our nation, the diverse situation of our nation. Some people feel that there should be a little bit more balance in the list, but this does not in any way call to question the credibility and the competence of the said individuals who have made the list. I'm sure the party has painstakingly looked at these individuals and their track record over the years of being members of the legislature and decided to go along. I have absolutely no fears or any worries whatsoever. If these people who are on the list end up being unanimously adopted by every member of the House of Reps in the APC caucus, and voting along those lines are executed perfectly, I have no doubt whatsoever that Nigerians will enjoy an even greater representation when it comes to the legislature in the 10th Assembly.
Some aggrieved lawmakers met with the national chairman of the APC on Thursday, and of course, they expressed their grievances. And the APC national chairman was actually quoted to have said there was no sufficient or adequate consultations with the contestants before the list was released. Does this mean the APC is, taking responsibility for what's going on? And are we likely to see a change of plans in the days ahead?
Well, I do not speak for the party in any capacity, but I would say when people raise genuine and legitimate concerns, it's only right, again, for the party to look back and see if there's something that they've missed. In my own opinion, I think that the positions in the National Assembly should be spread across geopolitical zones, and a particular geopolitical zone, if I'm going to be specific, the North Central feels absolutely left out of that arrangement, and the clamors are well within their rights to do so. And I'm sure that they've tabled this before the party, and the party hierarchy, in its wisdom, have said that, okay, maybe, just maybe we got this wrong. If they decide to make the corrections, it will be fine. If they decide not to, then I suppose it will be interesting times in the next couple of days. It's not less than a month away before we have these elections also. The APC might want to put its house in order, remembering that we do not have a simple majority in the House of Reps, and it could probably open the back door for opposition to sneak in. So we've got to be very delicate in handling matters like this.
And just as I said earlier, the live pictures are still on from the declaration of Mr. Wase for the office of a Speaker of the House of Representatives. And you can see there that other lawmakers are there to support, the same way we've had it when other individuals declared for those offices of presiding officers of the House. Let's look at another dimension to this. There is a planned concert by the youth of the APC, that's the Renewed Hope concert. And already the list of the committee members is generating a lot of reactions. And, the question in some quarter is, if a mini event like this is raising so much dust already, how would it be when the president-elect actually takes office and then he releases his own list? What would happen?
I suppose that people will get used to this idea that while a enormous number of Nigerians have contributed to getting Bola Ahmed Tinubu elected as president, it's not a government that would look to fix everybody or reward everybody for their loyalty. It's a government that will build solely on competence and character. And of course, this is not to say that those who did not make this list are not competent and don't have the character to, but the understanding must be that every one of us cannot play a role in government. Or at the end of the day, we're Nigerians who want a better country, and I think that should be the focus of the average Nigerian, whether you're in the APC or the PDP or wherever you find yourself. So my take to this would be that if anybody feels left out, I don't think that's they should. I think the understanding must be that everybody who has contributed in one way or the other to getting this president elected cannot be accommodated in government. At the end of the day, you look at those who have been accommodated and see if they have what it takes to play. If that's the case, then I suppose we should just move on from this and hope that the country is the ultimate beneficiary of an Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu presidency.
And as we count down to the inauguration of the 10th Assembly and, of course, the next administration, what do you really think that other lawmakers should look out for in supporting some candidates who have come out contesting these principal positions in the Assembly?
I think experience is what ticks the box for me, because we need, we've had National Assembly members, principal officers of the National Assembly who honestly believe that the way to show representation to the people is to be antagonistic of everything that the executive does. I think we need a paradigm shift in that regard. Nigerians need to see quality representation, and that can only come from experience. And so Nigerians must, these lawmakers must understand in putting their weight behind any candidate that the weight and expectations of 200+ million Nigerians are hanging on their decisions, and it's key that they make the right one. Like I said again, experience is something that they have to look out for, and then you speak about character and competence, because without these three ingredients, we're just going to be going around the same mountains that we have been since 1999.
Our political analyst and former member of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, Ahmed Mustafa, thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that's our program today. Watch a repeat broadcast at 6 a.m. tomorrow and follow us on our social media handles. I am Abosedi Adeniran Adiremi. Nifemi Ogunte will be here next week. Please stay with TVC News.